I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rekah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abababal. This is Zephaniah 3, and it's going to go into the punishment of Israel and then the judgment upon the heathen. All right, this is why it says, woe to Jerusalem, which are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery, and the other nations, being that they corrupted us. All right, it says, in fact, let me go to Jeremiah 50 and 6. It says, my people, which is speaking of the Israelites, have been lost sheep. This is why Yahweh Shai said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Their leaders misled them. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They've broken us up and taught us division. They have forgotten their resting place. They never told us that we were the Israelites. They put counterfeits in our land. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries, which are the other nations, said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. So the Edomites, which is the so-called white race, and the other nations, which are confederate with the Edomites, are against the Israelites. Psalm 83. Psalm 83. It says, verse 1, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O Elohim, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Elohim. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head, starting with that so-called white race, the red devil, Esau, Edom. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. And this is why they're making a issue with homeless camps. And this is why in past times you had these paid counterfeit camps like IUIC that taught that GMS were bums. All right, it's cunning. It's a cunning craftsmanship of the wicked to come against the Israelites. All right, or their war on terror. It's all propaganda directed towards the true prophets of the nation of Israel. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. All right. And this is why you had such things like Watergate. All right. They were secretly manipulating the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian. All right. And it's all being revealed now in the wash, and we're being washed by the word, which we're learning we're the Israelites, and we're learning the true names of our power, Yahweh, and our Savior, his Son, Yahweh Shai. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, the so-called white race, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, the Arabs, and the Hagarenes, another form of Arab, Gabal, which is the Edomites, and Ammon, which is the Japanese, and Amalek, the counterfeits, the small hat that are in our land, the Philistines, and the inhabitants of Tyre, which are the Hamites. Ashur, Assyrians, also is joined with them. They have holpen the sons of Lot. The sons of Lot are the Japanese and the Chinese. And if you look who owns the U.S. debt, it's the Japanese and the Chinese. All right. So do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, and as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which they're going to be destroyed, which perished at Endor, they became as dung of the earth. All right, and this is what's going to happen to these heathen. All right, they're going to be destroyed in their pursuing of us. All right, so let's go back to Zephaniah 3, verse 1. It says, "Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in Yahweh, she drew not near to her power. Her princes within her are roaring lions, her judges are evening wolves, they gnaw not the bone till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law. The just Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste, that none passeth by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant, which this is going to happen in America. All right? It's going to be made extinct. It's going to be wiped off the face of the earth by nuclear destruction. I said, surely thou wilt fear me. Thou wilt receive instruction, so their dwelling should not be cut off. Howsoever I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey, which is Esau. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For then will I turn to the people a pure language," which we're learning the truth, and we're going back to our roots, the Paleo-Hebrew, "that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh, to serve him with one consent," which we're in a body, the body of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is our head, and we are the body, all right? So we're following Yahweh Shai, which he is the way back to our power, and the other nations, they don't like it. So they're going to come down with great wrath, knowing that they have but a short time. It says in Obadiah verse 15, it says, "For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, the other nations, as thou hast done, which they polluted the Israelites. It shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, the Israelites, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been," which the empire of Edom, the so-called white race, their kingdom, Babylon the Great, a.k.a. the United States of America, is going to be wiped off the face of the earth by nuclear missiles that are going to be shot off by their allies and enemies, the NATO nations, the BRIC nations, and the UN nations. And it's going to cause the earth to shake. And their troops, their armies that are going to be gathered in the Valley of Slaughter, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, they're going to be melted there by chariot fire. It says, "But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance," because of Yahweh Shai, and then he's dealing with the elect men. "And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it." So this is the prophecy. He's going to gather you against the Israelites. He's going to gather you in the valley of slaughter, the valley of Jehoshaphat, and he's going to ransom the Israelites through slaughtering all these heathen. All right. Zechariah 14:12, it says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, which is a people before a place. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." So this is what's going to happen to them here in America, and in the valley of slaughter, the valley of Jehoshaphat, where their militaries are going to be gathered. They're going to be melted there. 2nd Esdras 13 and verse 8, it says, "After this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together in the valley of Jehoshaphat to subdue him, to subdue Yahushai, were sore afraid, and yet durst fight," because he came out of heaven on a chariot fit for judgment, which you know on earth as a so-called UFO, and the host of heaven is following him. "And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest," which is the nuclear destruction of America, "and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude," which was, there's so many men you can't count them, "nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid." So Esdras the prophet was afraid at this vision he saw of Yahushai's return and the judgment that took place on earth. All right, because he's coming to judge the nations, which the 2/3 reprobates of Israel that are here in America that reject Yahweh and Yahushai, they're going to be in this destruction. But this destruction was created for the devil and his angels, his military, which it says this in Matthew 25:41. It says, Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed," the 2/3 reprobate Israelites in America, "into everlasting fire prepared for the devil, the so-called white race, his kingdom, and his angels, his military, which they're all going to be burnt up, and it's going to be as they had never been. And there's only going to be a few which are going to be left in bunkers outside of America, which are the elite, which are going to be the first to go into slavery. Look up billionaire bunkers. It says in Revelation 6:15, "And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne." He's going to be riding on top of a chariot. "And from the wrath of the Lamb, which he's coming with fire. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" And this is why he's going to get us out of the way, so he could show no mercy. Matthew 24:31, "And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other," which we're going to watch these judgments from the chariot being protected in Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai. Shalom to the elect, wa abab abam.